So I must be getting old because I've just come back from a little procedure I have to get every 6 months where I get this injection done into my lower back so I can walk upright. And every time I go there, I'm struck by one thing: the level of service and customer service I get from this doctor's office. I go to this guy called Dr. Spyro, he's a radiologist, and what I'm really struck by is how amazing the service is I get from his team. It's just not what you'd expect, and often when I'm doing talks on customer service, I end up referring back to these people. And one of the things that really sets them apart is their empathy. They make sure that you're comfortable, they make sure it's a big deal, you have a cup of tea when you're finished, they come up and talk to you, make sure you're cool. And service is just obviously a core part. Service and empathy is a core part of what the entire team does. And you can see this by the fact that all over the wall in the waiting area, just thank you letters. And I don't know when the last time you sent a doctor a thank you letter, but it doesn't happen a lot, but it does with them. And today I was struck by one of the demonstrations of this level of empathy they have. So in the past, when I arrived there, you get there about an hour early and you sit down and you wait, and then they call you and you go and you put on one of those backwards robes with your ass sticking out. Today I walked in and they said, you know what, you actually don't have to change at all. With your procedure, it's not necessary. Just go in as you are. And in the past, you had to lock up your valuables in a locker. And they realized that with the procedure I have, that maybe that system was put in place with an old machine or at a time when it was very, very important that happened. But at some point they realized, wait a minute, why are we asking our patients to take off their clothes and put on these robes every time if we no longer have to? And it's so often in our businesses that we make our customers do things because it made sense back then that doesn't necessarily make sense now. This obviously is what I'd refer to as legicide. And I was very, very mindful of this. And it's something about our processes that we put in place for our customers that I want us to think about. You know, Hootsuite, an amazing company, was a blogging and a Twitter engine that you may have used before. One day, one of their staff actually appointed himself as the self-appointed czar of bad processes because he was so frustrated about the amount of processes they put in place to run the business that ended up being so uncustomer empathetic. And he wanted to make it, do the processes work well for our business? Will they help us to just be better? And they didn't. And I think that they could. And I have a construct that I often do when I'm doing my Legicide talk that I'd like to share with you today. And it's just a series of questions you have to ask when you look at any process or anything you're putting your customers through. And in fact, that's the context of this video, is your customers. But actually, this works for any process in your business at all. The first question you have to ask yourself is, what was the problem we were solving when we put this process in place? Make sure you write that down and think about it. And again, look at any process you have. Then ask yourself this: does this problem still exist? If the answer to that question is no, stop doing it. So whatever problem they were solving with the robes at the beginning, does this problem still exist? No. Well then, let's not make them take off their clothes. That's unnecessary. If the answer is yes, well then you've got to ask yourself this: is the way we're currently solving it still the best way? And the caveat to that, the way you've got to kind of work this out in your head is, say, if I left and started my own company tomorrow, doing exactly what we do today, and I had to solve this exact problem, would I solve it the way this company is doing it, or would I want to do it a different way? If the answer is I'd like to do it in a different way, well then change it here too, right? That's the idea, is that if you were starting again today, would you solve this problem the same way? If the answer is no, change it, evolve, because it's harder to do later. Yeah, yesterday would have been easier, tomorrow will be harder. If the answer is yes, I would do it the same way, well then high five, this process can stay. And that's the thing you need to be mindful of. And I think if you can start looking at it, make it a thing this year that every single week you're going to sit down and look at one of the processes you have in your business and measure this process out against this scale and see, does this make sense? Does this work for me? You'll really, really get a mindset of an evolving business, and you'll constantly put yourself in the position of your customers and say, you know, what are we doing for them? What can make their life easier? That will really, really benefit you and them. Now, if you do like this idea and you'd like to present this to your team, you absolutely can. On our website, Talk Drawer, we'll put a link down below. You can actually have a whole breakdown of this talk. It's called Process to Death, and you can actually stand up and deliver it for free to your team. So I hope you do that. I hope you try that. This is a process in itself and a better way of getting a message across. So very, very excited for you to try that. Please let me know in the comments if you do. We'd love to hear all about it. Until next time, peace. Stay curious.
Hey, what's up? I'm Nick from Missing Link. As you can see, I'm still trying to find a doctor that doesn't make me bare my ass. But if you liked Richard's video, please hit like and subscribe, and we'll check you guys next time. Peace.